Oh my God, Stormy Daniels is testifying, Adam.
Oh my God, really? Holy cow. What?
Oh my God, Stormy Daniels is testifying.
Oh my God.
Can you believe, Adam? Can you believe that Stormy Daniels, former adult film actress, is testifying in a courtroom in New York?
It's a woman with a mouth. Of course she's testifying.
A woman! A woman with a mouth who has done many things with that mouth is in a courtroom using her lips to say words in front of other people. Can you believe this?
I can. Women love to talk. It's their favorite thing to do, Sitch.
Oh my God.
Especially when they're talking about drama about their exes. Oh my God.
You're right. Why is this a story? You're right. This shouldn't be a story. This is the most obvious thing in the world. A woman is telling a bunch of people a story about an ex that she didn't like. This is like the most common topic of conversation for a woman.
Of course. She's told this story like a bazillion times already. Who is Stormy Daniels? The headline for CNN is, who is Stormy Daniels, the adult film actress who is testifying in Trump's hush money criminal trial?
Who is
Hush
she?
money?
I don't even know. I have
Hush
no
money? Well, how did that work out for you? Shh, don't tell anyone, okay? Except tell the entire state of New York in front of a judge. Oh man,
You know,
he should get his money
Trump,
back.
You got to be annoyed, okay? Because you're in this whole situation because of like trying to do this sneaky. And then, as you said, obviously everyone on the entire planet knows about the situation. So obviously that was a waste. But then on top of it, no one even cares. It was a whole waste. The whole thing was a waste. No one even cares.
Yep, no one cares. They're still
Doesn't
going to
even
vote
matter.
for Trump.
Oh my God. And I'm actually, after the whole grab him by the pussy video, did it even make sense for that? Like, people didn't care about that. Why would they care about this?
Yeah, it's funny when that first came out because everyone kind of thought, okay, this is the end of Trump. It's finally come. He's finally crossed the line. The American people are not going to put up with this. That's what they thought, right?
Little did they know, the American people can put up with anything.
I mean, look, Clinton got a blowjob in the Oval Office.
That's
and
true.
I know a lot of people that were like, based. Like, now I like him more. Are you kidding me? What happened to all these? What happened to all these powerful men becoming cucks? Right?
It is interesting. It feels like I feel like no one cared about any of this stuff. And it's just like there's a really good episode of South Park where it's like about, what's his name? Tiger Woods. You know how like Tiger Woods was like cheating on his wife?
Oh yes.
His, like hot wife. And everyone was like, why is he cheating on his hot wife? And like throughout the whole story, there's all these men. They're like, oh yeah, why would a rich, successful man cheat on a woman? Right, guys? And they'll like look around nervously at each other in front of all the women.
Men can't stand variety in their sex life. Gross.
I mean, now to be clear, okay, as a lawful good paladin, I think it's good in society that we have cultural social pressure to tell men they shouldn't be fucking doing that. Obviously, it's immoral. It makes you a piece of shit, right? 100%.
Yes. Look,
what?
This is why you need social pressure,
yes,
right?
Exactly.
They're acting like it's Mother Nature that enforces monogamy on men. No, social pressure.
We watched that whole video on Sunday. That was all about how like gender roles are all learned by society. Blah, blah, blah,
right.
Blah, 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 right. Society has been trying to pressure men to not be cheaters forever.
Right.
And women, to be clear, has been pressuring everyone to not be cheaters forever. And it just doesn't seem to take very well, does it?
It's better for the children. It's better for the children. It is. Look, we should, as a society, I believe, we should make sacrifices for the next generation. They won't care. They're still gonna backstab us as soon as they're old enough to do so. I always feel like we're constantly being invaded by the next generation. But, we should make some sacrifices for the children, right?
Of course, of course.
Yes.
Like being moral people that aren't disgusting, immoral piece of shit cheaters.
Right, exactly.
Yes.
I
No,
wonder
but
how
so
Barron feels about
right,
this story.
right. But no, but that's part of why it's like so silly. I mean, and I think you're right to bring up Clinton. I think that did kind of, at least for the modern era, like kind of whip the genie out of the bottle, so to speak. Whip the something out of the something. In terms of like people not really giving so much of a care about like presidents doing sexual acts or presidential candidates doing sexual acts or anything.
Right.
You know, what was there was some big controversy. Was it with Bush Sr. where he was like on a boat and he was wearing a shirt that said like monkey business? Do you remember this? I'm not insane. You know what I'm talking about, right?
No, not at all. I do remember George H.W. Bush, not W, always his relationship with Barbara Bush always disturbed me because she seemed like she was about 20 to 30 years older than him. I felt like he like had married his grandma or something.
Mm-hmm.
Not that that's relevant to this
Mm.
conversation, but
Well, there was like a time like in the past. It makes sense in the past. There's like in the 80s and 70s, if some, the president, like, oh my God, they did something, that seemed, well, lewd or whatever, people care. But I really think after Clinton, no one cares anymore. It doesn't matter.
yeah, I do think presidents should be role models, moral role models for society. It kind of
I
sucks that
agree,
that's
but
not the
they're
case. Yeah.
not.
It's not the case now, which I mean, how do we get back on that? How do we get back on that path, Sitch? We need
Well, mhm.
we need a good president.
It's interesting because it's usually the conservatives that are pushing the concept of like a leader who is, like a strict moral person, strict socially conservative moral person for the children to look up to, right? Now, and obviously
Yes.
that's, we're not in that world even remotely with Donald
Currently,
Trump,
yeah.
and that concept has been thrown in the trash can with Donald Trump, so I don't know.
Well, even
I don't know what to
Biden
think about it.
by association. I mean, Hunter Biden is obviously one of the most immoral, detestable people alive. And I mean,
Yes, true.
any the fact that Biden doesn't just vocally call that stuff out
Yes.
is
And that,
telling, right?
yeah. And then, Biden has his own weird accusations about, sniffing people's hair and
Oh yeah,
taking
that too.
showers and with underage people and the weird shit. So it's like, yeah, I mean, we're just this whole concept is gone, is tarnished forever.
Yeah. So do we know anything about we don't have any cameras in the courtroom, so
Which is
I
a
guess
damn shame.
yeah. No, so we can just infer. Right now we're kind of waiting to see what Stormy Daniels says today. Tomorrow we'll probably have lots of interesting stuff to talk about, but right now it's just, oh my God, she's testifying.
Yeah,
Right?
it is it's so ridiculous. The year's 2024, okay? We have this like amazing technology called cameras. I don't know if
Mm-hmm.
you've heard of them, okay?
Yeah.
They record video and audio information and then they transmit it to somewhere else, okay? Across the magical internet ether
Yeah.
place.
This
Yeah.
would be as big as Johnny Depp and Amber Heard.
Yeah, like to me, listen, Supreme Court needs to get up here and be like, listen, okay, from now on, we're saying it's illegal for all these stupid states or districts or cities, whatever it is, to be like, you can't film in courtrooms, man, man, man. Like unless there's some kind of security threat or something, there's some witnesses testifying at the mafia or something. Like, no, 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 no. All this stuff should be 100% filmed and on record and available to the public. There's literally, what the fuck is the explanation for trying to keep it secret? Doesn't that seem like super suspect?
Well, I think they don't want. I first of all, I think the judge is completely partisan, and he's worried that Trump is going to turn this into campaign ads and successfully make him look like a fool. So I do think it's just partisan hackery from the Democrat judge.
I'm not sure. Well, that's funny because you immediately want to go there.
What
I
do you
don't know if
mean?
that's the case or if it's just in different cities or states they just have different laws with it. So I don't know if it's just in New York you're just not allowed to do it.
I was checking Biden's Twitter to see if Biden has posted anything about Stormy Daniels.
Here you go.
Sometimes sometimes he snipes in there about, "Oh, look, it's the hooker in the trial."
Well, that would be a violation of the gag order, wouldn't it? So,
No, President Biden? Oh, President I thought President Biden can snipe all he wants.
oh, I thought you said Trump was. If they say you're looking at Trump's social media to see if he said anything.
No, I was looking at Biden's.
Okay, see, but this is why you shouldn't jump to just being like the judge is biased. Okay, look, here's an article. Trump trial draws attention to New York cameras and court rules. Okay. As
Okay.
the nation follows closely former President Donald Trump's hush money trial in Manhattan, details of what happened in the courtroom will have to come from reporters and others on site, with the exception of pool photos taken of the former president last week before the trial began in earnest. Cameras and audio recordings are not allowed in court.
You know
Uh,
someone's recording that shit.
that's
But I'd be on if
true.
I was on the jury, I'd have my well, I guess they probably make you take your cell phone.
Well, here, actually, look, here it is. This is interesting. It says, quote, this is from a Democrat state senator, okay, in New York. He says, New
Okay.
York prides itself on being the media capital of the world. How ironic is it that we're not allowing the media into the most significant criminal trial in modern democratic history? Okay, so here's
Sacred
a
words.
what?
Those are sacred
Oh,
words.
right,
That's
exactly.
definitely true.
And this guy, so is a Democrat here, obviously doesn't think it's going to help Trump. He's sponsoring legislation that would give judges the ability to permit more cameras in the courtroom. So, see, as I told you, it's this the state law is what prevents it. It's not the judge's discretion.
Okay. Wow.
So it is pretty wild. Said the state did briefly lift restrictions on trials in 1987, 1997, but then the legislature chose not to continue the policy. I don't know. The whole thing seems suspect. It would be great television. It'd be great internet television. We'd be watching it. Everyone would be watching it. Think of all the views. Think of the fun. But no, because some a-holes for some insane reason in New York don't want us to have nice things. We don't get to watch it.
Right. So why is Stormy Daniels even testifying? She's not really relevant to the case at all, right? I thought the case was about Trump's record keeping of the
Well,
hush money payments, not the
well, yeah.
yeah, go ahead.
Well, this is kind of interesting. It's my understanding of it is that so, and I guess I'll ask you what you think is a good idea. So Trump has denied having sex with Stormy Daniels,
Right.
which to me seems kind of silly because everyone, even Trump supporters, all assume that he has sex with Stormy Daniels, right? Is there anyone who thinks that he's telling the truth?
Maybe just got a BJ.
Well, okay, whatever. Had any sort of sexual relations. I did not have sexual relations with that woman. Okay. Any sort of sexual contact with a woman. I haven't heard a single person say that they believe Donald Trump when he says that he didn't. Everyone just assumes he's lying, which is also weird that we just live in this world where everyone's like, yeah, he's lying, but whatever. But anyway, so everyone just assumes he's lying. So I don't know what the point of it is because from a strategy perspective, it actually hurts him because I think that's why they're allowed to get Stormy in here and to give all this testimony on like the affair is because that is now a fact called into question. If Donald Trump had just said like, oh yeah, like, we banged or whatever, but the payment was legal or whatever, then I don't think she could come in and give very long testimony about their affair because that wouldn't be a question of the court. That like the jury wouldn't have to hear that information and it could be biased.
Yo.
From penis and he told me that I look like his daughter. Like all that stuff could be like highly prejudiced to a jury if they don't need to hear that information. But now, because he's saying he didn't have sex with her, now she gets to come in and say all this shit.
So they're only calling her to impeach Donald Trump's narrative that he never had sex with Stormy
Yes.
Daniels.
Yeah. Because
Right.
before the only relevance she would have, if he said he had sex with her, the only thing would be the relevant information would be, down, you both said that you had sex, so there's no fact claim there. But it'd be like, oh, did you receive, this money from Cohen, right? And she'd say, "Yeah, I did," and
So
they,
the
that'd be
argument
it.
is that that Donald Trump is lying about having sex with her, therefore he's probably lying about the the events around the payment.
That's what the state's going to say to the jury,
Okay. Oh,
right?
all right. It's like a person can lie in different contexts.
Oh no, like listen,
Yeah.
obviously the idea that because someone's lying about one thing means they're lying about everything that's like a logical fallacy, obviously. That's not a good way to look at it. But this has been I mean, we've talked about this in whenever we talk about any court case, is they always try to do this is like the common tactic they always try to do against a defendant in a court case. Or even the defense if they want to do it against the police, say, oh, he framed him. Like they're like, we're gonna catch you on one lie, and then if you get you on one lie, then we're gonna paint the picture of the jury that well, they're a liar, so you can't trust them. Right? It's a
Yeah.
very
They're already
well
doing that with
known
Stormy Daniels.
right. This is a very well known documented phenomenon when it comes to court behavior is to try to like get them in one lie and then say, okay, well, everything there's a lie. And supposedly it works reasonably often with juries.
Yeah. It's called impeaching the witness, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. It definitely works. It makes them look foolish and they're like, okay, well, I can't trust them. Discount
Right.
everything that they've said.
Now, with Trump, I don't know if that effect is going to matter because everyone's feelings are so strong about Trump one way or the other already. So I don't know if it matters like at all. Like, whenever you put Trump in the equation, I think all the standard rules before it like change because he's such a unique person. So,
Yeah. I was going to ask you because let's say I'm somebody who likes Trump and I'm a Trump supporter and I
mhm.
want Trump to win in the next election. And there's a lot of this stuff going on that makes him seem a little shady. What are some arguments that I can tell my family to convince them that this is all just partisan hackery and that Trump is completely innocent and that they should ignore all this nonsense and vote for Trump in November?
What a good question, Adam.
Yeah, look, I'm just asking. Look,
I mean, you know,
someone might want to
there
know
you
this
go. There
stuff.
you go. So the arguments I've heard from both sides, kind of conceptualize in my brain and also the arguments that I've thought about is regarding it being like kind of BS. It's what I said earlier, which is that like, yeah, he did probably, I don't think it behooves anyone to argue that he didn't do it because it's so obvious that he had sex with Stormy Daniels and tried to pay her off, right? That's like so obvious. So you're wasting your time, I think, and you're really
Why is it
straining
obvious?
your credit. It's one of those things in your gut. You just feel it like the elephant.
Well, no, I
Is it
think a
not
lot of
obvious to
people
you? Does it
look, I
seem
think the gut
okay? Here's why it's obvious.
can
Here's why it's
never be
obvious.
wrong, Sitch.
Here's why it's
Obviously,
obvious.
some people's gut
Here's what
goes in the opposite direction.
here's
They're
why it's
like,
obvious, okay?
okay.
Because why the fuck else would they be paying her off? They just
Well,
before an
look,
election. She just came Stormy Daniels, a porn star, just came up with this completely fake story that she had
look,
sex with
I'll
Donald Trump,
answer
and they're
that.
like, "Oh, we're gonna pay you off to not to say your fake story." Like
I'll
that's so
answer that.
random.
Look, I'll answer that.
Okay.
Powerful people, rich people, a lot of times get false accusations from women who
Hmm.
are expecting some kind of payoff. Like they know a lot of people will believe the accusations, whether or not they're true. You know, in the society, there's this meme called "Believe All Women." So a lot of times, people who have a lot of money will just pay off someone to make the headache go away. They know they're innocent, but it's better off just to pay them and make it go away than to put up with these kinds of shenanigans.
That is everything you're saying is 100% true.
Yeah, of
Okay.
course. So it's
But
easy for people to adopt that narrative. They're like, look, Trump is a
well,
rich guy. He gets us. Look, who knows how many other false accusations he's paid off just to save the headache.
here's why even though I agree with that overall, I think that that'd be silly to kind of associate with Stormy Daniels.
Okay.
Because you almost like I think every time that goes on, where these cases where the women are creating they know right. Though this cases where a woman is intentionally creating a fake sexual assault allegation, or not even sexual assault, just a blackmail allegation. Um, these are like not people that are famous that do that. I've never seen that where a famous person is like, I'm gonna concoct a fake story to coerce someone into giving me money, does Stormy Daniels even need the money that she would be willing to risk like this, basically committing like a massive amount of libel and blackmail to try to coerce someone into having, into this thing? Like
Well,
that's a
that's a good
I
counter argument. That
like
is a good counter argument. A lot of times they are nobodies. Yeah.
right, because that's like because you have to think about it this way, like if you're going to attack a powerful person and try to blackmail them into paying you off, okay, they could
Right.
go one of two ways. They could go with either the way that you were saying, kind of like, well, they're like, oh, it's a headache, I don't want to deal with it, right? Or it could be like, fuck this person, I'm gonna destroy them, right? Or I'm gonna hit them with libel or slander or defamation, right? And usually that's why the people that are doing this are people that don't have anything to lose. They're not risking anything. And Stormy Daniels, I mean, she was some famous porn star, I'm sure she's well off, already. She doesn't, need the hassle or the money to get, 100 grand or 130 grand.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, she took the hush money, right?
Sure,
Yeah.
sure. But
Well, that's a good argument. I mean, I think I have a good counter argument. So
mhm.
I think this is one of those situations where it just allows people to accept the narrative that they want to believe, right?
Well, again, so as I said, before, and this is, putting facts aside, because we have to remember people don't operate based on facts. They operate based on gut intuitions and they look for facts afterwards,
Oh, of
right?
course. Yeah.
And you know, and I know, and everyone listening knows that 99% of the population believes that Donald Trump had sex with Stormy Daniels.
Is
It
it?
wasn't
I'm
even like
not
when the
sure.
when the allegations first came out, the Trump people they were celebrating. They're like, "Oh, you think it's an own that Donald Trump had sex with a hot porn star?" Like people were like high-fiving for it. They weren't denying it. It's like so it'd be like weird for now. Well, now that there's like this, hush money accusation trial, now people are like, "Well, wait a minute, right?" Like at the time that these allegations came out, everyone just intuitively believed it, and I think most people intuitively still believe it today. And so that's why I'm saying when you ask me the question, what kind of argument should you kind of craft for Trump's defense? To me, I think it completely undercuts your credibility if you're trying to defend Trump to sort of be like, oh, well, he denied it, right? Because people, if you're trying to convince someone, you say, oh, well, Trump denied it. That's not going to be persuasive. You're not going to persuade anyone of that.
Yeah, I don't know the I haven't seen a poll on this, so I don't know.
Hmm.
I mean, maybe your gut intuition is just I don't know. Maybe you're
I
correct.
don't think so.
What's that?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Anyway,
But no, so the
Trump seems
argument
innocent to me. I mean, I think he's funny. So
the argument to make is that is the argument as I said last week, which would be, listen, like, yeah, Trump had sex with Stormy Daniels, and yes, Trump tried to pay her to not talk about it because he thought it hurt his presidential campaign, right? But if he had just done it, if he just given her money to pay for it, like this, there wouldn't be a trial. There would be no crime. You're allowed to pay someone money not to say something. That's totally allowed. The only reason that he's going through this weird trial is because he didn't do it directly. He did it through this sort of indirect manner to try to kind of like cover it up, through Cohen and then pay Cohen back. And it's like it creates the quote technicality of being a campaign contribution. And so this is very much like, oh, well, he did something that wasn't really illegal, but he did it in a kind of shady way that is technically illegal. So we're going to try to catch him on technicality, right? And that to me is why the case seems stupid. Because it's like, oh, okay, like everyone just kind of rolls their eyes because intuitively we're like, man, this doesn't seem like a big deal. It seems like bullshit.
right. Well, I think tomorrow we'll know a lot more about what the actual testimony was. I am more curious about how it affects the election because I do think this the salaciousness of this trial could push people
Hmm.
in a way that is kind of unanticipated. Like I think a lot of the
Really?
Palestinian protests. Yeah, yeah, I think a lot of the Palestinian protests are just basically because a lot of people have seen these horrible images coming out of Gaza. And a bunch of salacious back and forth in a trial. I mean, a lot of people, it's easy to say, look, a lot of people already have their minds made up, and you know, this isn't going to change anything. But I mean, if it starts really speaking to people's guts about, you know, marriage and faithfulness and and monogamy,
I think there's
I
like
don't know.
no chance whatsoever that this is gonna. I don't think this Stormy Daniels situation is gonna sway anyone of anything. That'd be my guess.
Okay.
You think it will? You think that people are gonna be like, that Donald Trump, doesn't seem like a good moral person. I don't know if I'm gonna vote for him.
What if Stormy Daniels comes out and says, yes, he urinated all over me?
Okay, well now we're in business. Okay,
Okay,
now
look,
things might change. Yeah.
I'm just
You know
saying,
what?
look.
That's a fair point, right? Yeah.
Yeah, look.
Okay. Listen,
Nobody cares about anything. He
yeah.
pissed in my mouth.
I may have spoke too soon.
Look, I don't know. Look, it's the same thing. This is why I brought up the Gaza situation, because
Mhm.
look, it's real easy to say, "Oh yeah, Israel is defending itself against these murderers," but then as soon as you start seeing a lot of the pictures of the collateral damage, you know, people are being driven by their elephant.
Right,
I
right.
think I think people on the right are more, you know, obviously they're the religious right. They're more, they're not untouchable when it comes to talking to that elephant.
Hmm.
So I don't know what's going to come out of this, but I mean, I can imagine things that would change stuff. Whether or not that will actually change anything, or whether or not those things will happen, that's the question.
No, you're right. There could be some so that's an interesting point, right? That if there is some, because you're right, the only way I think this would really have any impact is if she says something like insane happens, right?
Yeah,
Like,
of
right, which
course.
would, which I agree would have a massive impact. But that would show to me again, that would kind of highlight why it's a bad strategy for Trump to even deny it in the first place, is to even allow the possibility of something like that to happen.
Well,
Unless, I
this
mean,
is why he's denying it. Look, if you urinated all over a woman for
well,
money,
no.
wouldn't you start denying it
No, no.
immediately?
Well, I don't know because no, because you would say that you had sex, but then but that'd be it. So that you wouldn't let her testify. I mean, presumably, obviously, Donald Trump would know if something, like if nothing crazy happened, then I guess it wouldn't matter if she comes up. You would think it would matter if she comes up and testifies that, whatever. So, and
We'll see
also,
what happens.
I would be curious and you go through it to because when Michael Cohen has already testified and took a plea deal and been found guilty. I mean, I guess he admitted to it in terms of that he was involved in this hush money scheme already, which is obviously going to significantly hurt Trump. But I don't know if throughout any of that if he said like yes, Donald Trump told me that he had sex with Stormy Daniels and that's why I paid him, right? Because obviously, if that did happen, then and they bring that testimony up in this case, that is going to paint Trump as a liar and make him look, even worse.
Yeah,
Hmm.
we'll see what happens. I
I
mean,
don't know. Seems like a bad idea, but whatever.
hopefully this election heats up soon. I
Listen,
hope she says
maybe
crazy stuff.
Melania is like he's like right on the cusp. Okay, he's right on the cusp, and he's like Melania. I swear I didn't have sex with Stormy Daniels, and he's like really just has to keep this up to like save his marriage.
Oh, you think she's gonna walk out on him?
I don't know. Maybe she's mad. Maybe it's for her. Maybe it has nothing to do with the presidency or himself. Maybe it's just to protect, his relationship with his wife.
We covered a story where Melania was throwing shade at Stormy Daniels,
That's right.
called her a common streetwalker. So yeah, look, I'm sure she's upset about it, right?
Hmm.
Women are capable of feeling jealousy, Sitch.
Right.
They're not an alien species, okay?
Though then again, Stormy Daniels could look not credible herself because she has this. I mean, I was kind of looking through this Reuters article, and they're saying, she's saying that my motivation wasn't money, it was to get the story out, and that she changed her mind during Trump's 2016 presidential bid when he faced multiple accusations of sexual misbehavior. But she did take the money. So that makes her seem not credible, right?
Yeah, look, she doesn't
She didn't
seem
say like,
credible at
"Take your
all.
money back. I'm gonna tell my story," right? She didn't do that.
They have some letter of her denying that they had any kind of affair. She made some
Hmm.
kind of statement. So yeah, look, they've got
Right.
her dead to rights on all sorts of contradictory testimony.
Yeah, but there's an email, is it email or a text message of Trump talking to Cohen that I assume came out during the Cohen case, where he's talking about trying to delay payments until after the election because then people wouldn't care.
Right. Okay.
Now, again, you could say, well, that doesn't necessarily, maybe that just shows that he's paying it, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, again, the whole thing, it seems it's such a weird story. This is why I kind of like it's silly to talk about to me because it's like to me, Trump did it, but I still don't care. Like it's kind of like I feel like it's is very reminiscent of when they were like they're really trying to get Al Capone and they couldn't get him for being like all the things that he did, so they got him for tax evasion.
Right. That's exactly what they're
Like
doing
this is what
here.
this feels like. It's like, oh, we can't get Trump for the things that we want, so we're gonna get him for like whatever we can get him with, and it's like the Stormy Daniel hush money stuff.
Yeah.
That's how it
Which
reads
makes
to
it
me.
seem like partisan tomfoolery.
Yes, yeah, yeah.
Well,
Okay.
we'll know more tomorrow, so I'm eagerly waiting.
Hmm. Oh,
Can't
and there.
wait.
Did you want to talk about the gag order thing real quick?
Sure. Yeah, because there was a lot of comments yesterday that were accusing you of not really understanding the details of the gag order. So I'd
Well,
like you
that's
to
weird.
rebut those
It's weird because
comments.
because there was like this idea, supposedly, they're like, this gag order on Donald Trump is so unusual. This is such an unusual thing. People were saying that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and I thought, like, is that true? So I started to look, I was looking for stories that were saying that this gag order was like unusual. And I did find them. And I think this is a case, a situation of a combination of some people doing two things. Only reading the headlines of an article or a video and then listening to a very biased source talk about the headline. Because the articles and videos I found that would say like these gag orders unusual, when you actually like listen to the video or the article, they weren't saying that it was unusual for a person to be subjected to a gag order. They're saying it's unusual for a person to have to be subjected to a gag order for attacking the court, like the way that Trump has been attacking the court. They're like, yeah, it's really unusual. Most people, when the judge tells them not to do it, they just do it. So it's unusual that, the judge has to throw like all this shit at Donald Trump to get him to shut up.
They just follow the court's orders.
Yes, because yeah, for a very obvious reason. Why is
What
it
a
that
bunch
the
of cucks,
average,
though.
well, maybe, but why is it that the average person in the average court situation, when the judge says, "Hey, stop attacking me or the legitimacy of the court," why do you think the average person says, "Okay"?
Because they're pussies.
Well, yeah, because they don't want to bias the judge against them. They don't want. They're like, "What the fuck? This guy has a lot of power over me in this case. I don't want to get in trouble. I don't want to like make him hate my guts." That's why
They're
they. So
trying
that's
not to get
why.
thrown in jail.
Well, there you go. And also, yeah, because they don't want to get thrown in jail, which obviously, with Trump, either A, he doesn't care, B, he thinks it helps him, C, he can't control himself, whatever reason you want to choose. So when all these articles were saying that was unusual, they're all saying it's unusual that a person would require this level of gag order, not that it was unusual for a judge to do it. They all agree that it would make sense that a judge would give someone a gag order for attacking the legitimacy of the court in the
Hmm.
case. You can always attack afterwards, but during the judge's, they don't like that. So I'm not really sure what people were talking about when they were making that claim, unless they were just reading the headlines.
Right. Now, this gag order had nothing to do with the golden showers, right?
I believe that the gag order had to do with the golden showers on the bed in Russia that or Ukraine. Where was the
Oh,
bed that
yeah.
Donald Trump
That's,
peed on that Obama slept on,
oh,
supposedly?
yeah.
The
This
pee
is,
tape. Remember the pee tape?
I do remember the P
Yes.
tape. Yeah. So
Right.
yeah, Putin supposedly had video evidence of Trump doing this.
Right. Right.
Wow. It's already
This
an
is what this
established
is.
narrative.
This is how you listen. This is what Donald Trump should do. This is how, okay. I just got it here. I'm a fucking genius. Donald Trump should hire me for his campaign. Okay, you ready for this? This is how Donald Trump should break the gag order and go to jail for contempt of court. Okay, this is what he should. put out on True Social. He should say, I will not be restricted by this unconstitutional gag order the way that I put Stormy Daniels under my own gag order.
Oh, that would be good.
Okay, that's the post you put out there, right? Because then you have all the news agencies have to read this on air, right?
Oh
This
yeah,
fucking statement. And then he goes to jail, and all the people laugh. See, there it is. You should do that.
that's great.
Okay.
So there's a response to the dozen or so people who commented on yesterday's stream saying that
Right. Well, someone has some like legal article they want to send me on Twitter. I'll look at it.
sure,
But I would be curious. I didn't see any actual legal arguments about this.
they weren't real happy with your commentary on Trump, obviously because they're Trump fans and Trump
Sure,
supporters,
sure, sure, sure,
and but they were even more disappointed in my commentary on the man versus bear thing because
sure.
they really they really want to simp for those men out there, those scary
Uh-huh.
men in the woods.
All the scary men in the woods. Yes, yes.
But that's okay. Look, we don't want to return to that. Let's move on.
Return to bear.
Yes. Yeah.
Not gay Ben, our favorite super chatter for 25 months. Look at that.
Yes. And he's not gay again. Where's my flag? I'll fix
There
it.
you go.
Don't worry, I'll fix this. Here
Not
you
gay
go.
Ben
Stare at the
says,
screen.
oh my God. Not gay
Ben,
Ben.
Ben, look at this.
Don't look, Ben. Ben, avert your eyes. Don't give
Look at
in to the
this.
power. Stop it. Stop it. No. Not gay Ben says, I'm not gay. I'm not gay. I'm not gay like 100 times.
Okay.
So there you go.
Good.
Okay.
We'll get
Speaking
you
of,
next time.
Orca for $5 says, hit me with that flag, Adam. It's working.
Oh, here you go, Orca. Here you go.
A team reigns penis.
What?
Oh wait, no, just to say that. I was getting hit with the flag, so I just figured.
There we go.
Luke Nagel for $2 says, I'm left leaning, but the trial is such a farce. Yeah, this trial does seem to be a farce to me. I agree. Seems a joke.
If Trump gets thrown in jail, I mean, that'll be entertaining.
That's true. That's true. Pobaxi for €10 says the actual hard-hitting question: does Stormy have a manly square jawline or not? Uh-oh. Do we have to trans investigate Stormy Daniels? Is Stormy Daniels really a trans man? Did Donald Trump had sex with a trans woman? Okay. Is that what happened there?
No one has been hurt more by the trans movement than masculine looking women.
I know, right? I know.
Yeah, look, Stormy Daniels does have a very strong jawline.
She does, but I mean, she looks. I think she looks pretty feminine. Okay,
right.
I think she looks pretty feminine.
Right.
Did you see? I kind of feel bad talking about it, but it is super weird. You know that female basketball star that was like arrested and held in jail or prison, I should say, in Russia.
In Russia, yeah.
Yeah, because she had some marijuana on or something.
Yeah, I do know.
Right, so I had heard about this story, and I'd never like seen or heard the woman they were talking about until recently, because I guess she got out now. And there was some interview with her, and I'm like, is that a trans person? I was so confused because she has really deep voice and has very masculine figure like features. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, there's maybe video, maybe just photos of her playing basketball shirtless.
Yes, that's what I was going to bring up.
Yes. You're like, that's a dude.
Yes, there's a video. There's a literal video.
Okay, there is a video.
There is a video. I saw it because at first I saw the picture. I'm like, wait, this is fake, right? And then I saw the video. I'm like, wait, it's not fake. There's a video of this person at like in a backyard pool somewhere.
Yep.
And they're shirtless and they're wearing like male bathing trunks and they're shooting a ball into the little like pool net. And I'm like, what the fuck? I'm so confused. I'm so confused what's going on. This is what I think is going on. Either this, well,
leftists love that confusion.
I think one of two things is going. I don't think. I mean, they swear up and down that this person is a cis woman, that they're not trans.
Yeah.
Which I don't know why I mean, they just say they're trans because it's, I think that they get all the trans acceptance, right? I
Well,
think,
they're like a professional basketball player? Wouldn't that
yeah, but
hurt their career?
don't they allow trans women in the WNBA
I
or
don't think
whatever?
so.
Oh, really? Okay, maybe. I don't know. That's what I'm wondering. Is it a trans person? Is this a guy pretending to be a woman? Or what I think is going on? This would be my guess. I think that this is someone who probably has a vagina, but has an intersex condition, like a pretty significant intersex condition. I think that's what's going on here.
Really?
Yes, that'd be my
Okay.
guess. If I had to guess, that'd be my guess. I think it's an intersex person. So, because there's some intersex conditions that will do that exact thing, where
Might
it's
just
like,
be a flat-chested woman.
no, that's more than. When I saw that video, I'm like, no, 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 no. That is not a normal cis woman with no intersex condition. I was like, this is either like a trans person or
This
an
is
intersex
so
person. It's
transphobic,
something.
Sitch. I can't
I'm telling
believe
you.
this
I'm
is
telling you.
so.
Listen, it's fine if they are. I mean, it just gives them a massive advantage, obviously.
I
If
guess this is like non-binary phobic, really.
I'm just curious, I just want to know. They should just there was a runner. What was her name? There was a famous runner
Oh
that
yeah, she
also
had
had
intersex.
has an intersex condition too, because that's why her testosterone was so much higher. And it's probably the same thing with this person. They probably have an intersex condition. So I just thought it
Right.
was so weird. I had no clue this was going on.
I saw
So
that a long time ago, and I thought, look, if I share this with Sitch, he's just going to be totally homophobic about it. So I got to like,
how is it
I
homophobic?
got to keep this under
Listen,
wraps.
listen, listen, you gotta bring up the intersex flag, okay? We gotta support
He's
our intersex brethren.
he's going to just be weird about it. It's just a chick playing
Mhm.
basketball with no shirt on.
Okay. First of all, why would a chick even do that?
I mean, I got to admit, I did Google like her name and trans a bunch of times.
Yes, everyone did because they're like, what the hell's happening in this video or the slash picture? Hmm.
Right. But guess what? Nothing came up. She's completely innocent.
Oh wait, there's an update to the Stormy Daniels story. It's actually kind of funny. Um, the judge today denied a mistrial request by Trump's lawyer, who argued that Stormy Daniels' testimony was irrelevant and would only inflame the jury. Exactly what I said, Adam. Look at this. Look at this.
So her testimony wasn't salacious enough to entertain the jury, so they're like, "Get this bitch out of here."
No, no, it was too salacious.
Really?
Inflame, not entertain. Inflame
Oh,
the jury. Trump's lawyer said, how can we come back from this in a way that's fair to President Trump? The judge agreed that there were some elements of Stormy Daniels' testimony that would have been better left unsaid.
no way. This is breaking news here.
Yes.
So look, there's a 50% chance that has to do with golden showers.
But he said, quote, I think the witness was a little bit difficult to control, but I don't think we're at the point where a mistrial is warranted. Okay. So I guess we'll find out
What?
tomorrow what she said, what sort of
What?
crazy things she said.
What? Oh my God. She definitely talked about the act. That's
Mhm.
exactly what happened. She described in detail.
The
The
motion came after several hours of riveting testimony by Daniels, who told the jury about the alleged sexual encounter with Trump and the 130,000 hush money payment she secured when he ran for president in 2016.
Look at this. Look at this.
Daniels told the New
Details.
York jury she was determined to keep the incident private after being threatened in a parking lot in 2011, but changed his mind in 2016 when other multiple accusations of sexual misbehavior came out. Blah, blah, blah.
Who's Trump's sexual
Trump's, not hers.
misbehavior.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, she's having sex with a married man,
Right.
so
Daniel said Trump made sexual advances after inviting her to a hotel suite at a celebrity golf tournament. She said he told her this is the only way you're getting out of the trailer park. Ooh, that's not good. Daniel testified she grew up as a daughter of a low-income single mother. She's not like a porn star. When did they have sex?
look, I told you. That just blew your entire theory out of the water.
No, 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 because that was when they had sex, not in 2016. They had same sex like 20 years ago, didn't they?
Yeah, but you were saying that it's only low status women that do this. Ho
Yes. No, 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 no.
ho.
No, you're misunderstanding. Trump told her this in 2006. He made that comment about it's the only way you're gonna get out of the trailer park.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm saying now in 2016, when she has status and money, why would she risk it to try to do some weird blackmail coercive
When did she
campaign?
take the hush money?
2016.
Okay.
They
When did
had
she?
the comment about that was from 20 years prior.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Trump just threw it at her. They hadn't met.
Well, like, I don't know. I'm assuming she probably was just started doing porn or something. I don't know how they met. It doesn't say.
What is the only way she's making it out of the trailer park?
Well, presumably the
Doing
article didn't
porn?
give her whole quote, but I'm assuming she means like by having sex with him or something. I don't know how that would make any sense.
Oh, okay. That was
Yeah,
like
that is a good. What does he mean by that?
his
What,
pickup line.
I don't know. That's actually I am curious what he mean. Was he gonna like promising to like pay her to continually to have sex or something? Anyway, Stormy
Make her a
Daniels
regular.
said she, quote, blacked out despite consuming no drugs or alcohol after Trump prevented her from leaving the room by blocking the door and said she woke up on the bed with her clothes off. Wow, I didn't realize
He
this.
roofied her. Oh my
Wow.
God, he pulled a Bill Cosby.
You're right. See, but this is wow, see, this is why he should just said he had sex with maybe this is why he said he didn't have sex with her because he she made these allegations and thought like he didn't even want to make it a he said. I don't know. I still feel like it'd be better for him to just say that he did, because then you couldn't have her come up and testify the specifics about this. They wouldn't have all these like rape allegations in the case now, which is obviously going to bias the jury.
She woke up. Trump was on top of her. Bill Cosby was in the corner in a chair.
Right. She said, I was staring at the ceiling and didn't know how I got there. I was trying to think about anything other than what was happening, but I didn't say anything. She did not tell him to stop, apparently. So there you go. She's claiming she blacked out.
He raped her.
Wow.
That's where this is
Crazy.
going.
Yeah, see, but that's why I think it was a bad strategy
Rape
to
her.
just deny the well, that, but to deny it in the first place. Don't even allow this to go on the stand. So,
Oh,
oh my God.
wow.
This is hilarious. Um, she said Trump greeted her at his hotel suite wearing satin pajamas. She said she grew annoyed by his frequent interruptions and asked him if he's always arrogant and pompous. And then he replied he dared Daniels to spank him with a magazine.
Oh, look.
It's hilarious.
Trump's been a naughty boy.
Right.
He needs a spanking.
Apparently, Trump mouthed the words, that's bullshit, from the defendant's table as he watched this, according to this article.
Wow. So Trump
This
is
is
there
hilarious.
watching
Yes, this is
as
so
she's
fun.
going on and on and on about
Why is there
the
not
whole
cameras of this,
the
Adam? I
whole
want to see
rape.
this. I know.
She's
There's so
talking
many.
about the rape. He
Yes,
roofied me and raped me, and
right.
Trump is just sitting there going, "This bitch."
This bitch, this fucking liar. Oh my God. I want to see this
Look,
so bad.
this is Johnny Depp and Amber Heard all over again. Like
I
what
know.
the
It's good.
why? Why
I
are there no
know. God,
cameras?
so obnoxious. Damn it, New York. Why do you suck so much? Okay, anyway. We'll see if anything else funny
So
comes
that's it.
tomorrow.
Look,
Okay.
David Pakman always introduces Trump as like the rapist
The
anyway.
rapist, yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. He doesn't
This
have to say
is
alleged because of the Eugene Carroll case. You can just throw it out there.
exactly. Yeah,
Yep.
look, this is the direction that they're going.
Yep.
All the Republicans are going to be big mad about this. They
Oh
are
yeah.
going to be livid.
I don't know. I don't think so. I think they just get the hand waved away and say it's a farce, right?
Yeah, okay.
Stug for 25 months. Thanks so much for being over 2 years a member. Stug says he elephant in the room. I get it, Sitch, because he's the Republican candidate. There you go. Thank you, Stug.
Yes. Yeah.
Glad you get it. Filthy Casual
That's
for
the joke.
$10 says joining Twitter was a mistake. I've never been so black-pilled. I had no idea the right had morphed into the exact thing the left has been crying wolf about for 10 years with so much open racism. Yeah, I don't know if it's like I don't know how many people on the right it is, but there's definitely I don't think it's the majority, but there's definitely a very loud vocal minority of people on the right who are on Twitter who are like fucking weirdo, some combination of weirdo Christian nationalist and white nationalist. And I don't think it helps the Republicans. I think it makes them look really bad. So I'm not sure, like from a strategic perspective, I think it was probably a big mistake if you're on the right to it would be a strategic perspective if you're on the right to have Elon Musk bring Nick Fuentes back on Twitter and have all the Groyper anti-Semitic shit going on there. So doesn't look good for them.
Yeah, I hate that shit.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
hate
yeah.
racism. Racism is evil.
Yes. Quickly, Chibi for 9 months says if a sex tape starring one of the last three presidents hit the press, would which would you most like or least despise to see? S class is S class.
So this is presidential sex tapes? Is that what we're
Oh God, what are these? Those are worst choices. I mean,
I
you got what?
know.
You got Biden, Trump, and Obama. You have to choose a sex tape you want to see. I mean, I don't want to see any of
Why don't
that.
we get HW and Barbara Bush?
Oh my God.
God, that's like torture.
Right.
Send that
Jesus.
over to the Middle East to
Right.
torture people with, right?
Right. Oh, I don't want to answer this question. Why would you answer such a horrible question?
Oh,
God, wash my eyes out with bleach. Depressed Canadian for 20 Canadian. Thanks so much. As will you guys have Jesse Single on to discuss the cast review? The
no,
NHS and the leftist Labour Party will implement its findings once in power. Do you think the majority report types just double down a year from now? A
never.
100% they will. Yeah.
Jesse
Yes.
is officially banned from the show.
Wait, what? No. Why?
Oh, okay. I'm just kidding.
Go ask him. Set that up, Adam. Be
The
like,
cast
Jesse.
report?
No, yeah, get him to come on and tell me about the cast report and the WPATH leaks because I want to be lazy and not have to do my own research.
Okay.
There you go. He said he'd come
Jesse.
on. I got it officially. I got an official.
Yeah, look, he's been on a couple times.
I know,
He can come on again.
of course. But yeah, definitely want to have him on again. Gene Angry Penguin for $5 is considering that this has nothing to do with the charges at hand. They're giving him more grounds for appeal. Well, that's what I'm saying. It does because he's denying the allegations. So by denying the allegations, he's opening himself up to allow this testimony in the first place. So I think that's why I'm saying I think it was a big strategic mistake. Caleb for 5 months says center left and hate Trump, but the Stormy Daniel case is a waste of time. The documents and electors slate case are way more important. Very true. Very true. But there's no possible P tape. Okay, there's no tape. There's no possible accusation that Donald Trump started peeing on the on the fake electors before he told them to cast the ballot for him, or started peeing on all the documents that he was supposed to return to the government. So it's not as salacious, right?
Pretty close to 1 in 4 here. I think Trump didn't have sex with Stormy Daniels.
There you go.
I just did a
It's
little
just
impromptu poll of our
it's
audience.
I'm surprised it's that high. It's just Abby for 9 months says, speaking of Twitter black pills, apparently don't punch children is a hot take over there. Yeah, that was a. I don't know if that's worth talking about. Should we talk? We can talk about that. Did you see that weird fucking thing?
Weird thing.
The
No,
punching kids thing. I
no.
mean, it's what's his name? Doyle? We've talked about him.
Okay.
He's like a retard.
Andrew Doyle?
No, no, no. What's the super far right guy?
Okay.
What's his name?
I don't know. Doyle something.
Chat will know. You can keep an eye on
Chat
chat.
Doyle?
I'm gonna look for the tweets because it was like pretty unhinged. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
Um,
he did the debate with Witzke.
yes, that's who I'm talking about, I
Right.
guess. Yeah.
Very popular. Knows all of his right wing talking
John
points
Doyle, thank
inside
you,
and out.
Chad. Yeah, John Doyle. Um, yeah, so like there was this weird okay, I hate all internet discourse, Adam. I hate it
All
all.
internet discourse.
All of it. Anything that comes from a Reddit post. You understand that like every Reddit post is like 99% of Reddit posts about like weird things that people have experienced are probably lies.
I
Okay. I don't think
agree.
they,
Yeah.
they actually experienced it.
90% of everything on Reddit is a lie.
Right. So someone posted on one of these weird Reddit things, something that's completely probably made up. They said they told a story about they said that their son is 13, that he has a girlfriend at this house, that their father, but the father, the girlfriend, told the son that and his daughter that when they're in his house, they have to keep the door open if they're in like a room together. Okay.
Right. Okay.
And that according to the story, the daughter closed the door to her bedroom when her and her 13-year-old boyfriend were in it. And so the father's reaction to this was to open the door, go inside, punch the boy in the face, the 13-year-old kid in the face, giving him a bloody nose.
Okay.
Okay. Now, I don't think this story happened because it's supposedly the person telling the story on Reddit is the mother of the 13-year-old who got punched in the face, right?
Right.
Don't you think you would call the police if a grown-ass man punched your child in the face and gave them a bloody nose?
Yeah,
That's a pretty intense thing to happen, right?
it's a little bit of an overreaction.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And so, but anyway, so it's one of these fake stories that came out on Reddit. And then, of course, John Doyle came out in this weird post, and he said that while punching someone in the face is excessive, he doesn't see a problem with the principle because they disrespected the man's rules in his house.
Wow, honor culture. Great.
It's like the most insanely like retarded take. People are like, "Are you fucking like for real? This is so retarded." Because it it's so funny that like, if you're in favor of being a strong man, right, and being a good role model, part of being a good role model for a man and a good model of masculinity is this little thing that we call self-control, right?
Really?
Yeah,
That's
self-control, to not
important.
flip off the fucking handle like a psychopath. And if
Right.
you're such a psychopath that, closing a door for like 10 seconds leads to you coming in your room and it's not like it came in the room, they were fucking, right? Just comes in the room, they're not doing anything, according to the story anyway, and punches him in the face purely out of like because oh, you disrespected me by not following my rules, so I have to punch you in the face. Like a grown ass man having so little control over himself, he's gonna punch a 13-year-old kid in the face when his
Yeah, why
daughter's the
not
one that
just
closed the door. Is it like that person's a psychopath? That person can't be in part of society. They have
why
no
not just
control.
escort him out of the house?
Yeah, because that would mean that you'd have normal emotional control, Adam, and you'd be an adult.
Yeah. Hmm.
But no, this like this weird shit with these fucking weirdos like John Doyle who were like, "Oh my God, you disrespected me. That means I get to do whatever fucked up shit ever." Right? You're right. And I didn't even think about it. You're right. It's all honor culture. 100% like very low class honor culture specifically. So
Yeah.
terrible. Austin Unruh for $10 says crying wolf about either side waters down the accusations, which gives cover for those factions to rise. S class is the best class, and A team reigns in his dreams. I don't know if that's a compliment or an insult, but I agree with the first part of that. Yes, true. Crying Wolf does destroy the discourse. So
Crying wolf. Yes.
yeah.
That's not good. Crying
JMac for
bear
$10
is
says I
even
responded
worse.
to that insanity. JMac or Surrogate Father says I respond to that insanity. I chose to believe it's a lot of tough guy internet LARPing as it is with most things. Yeah, I mean it's all this stuff is just these people they know that if they create some like wacky ass fucking story on Reddit, it's gonna get a bunch of upvotes on Reddit, and that's why they do it. They construct these stories just to get attention, just to get upvotes. And then stupid people have fucking arguments about it and they have insane takes. Though I guess maybe it's good because it kind of, shows us who the crazy people are.
Yeah, and it's entertaining to see their insane takes.
Right. Okay, let's watch this video.
I thought we were going to cover this Biden story you've been talking about for days.
Oh, weren't we gonna watch the video first? Or do you want
Uh, okay. We can do the video
to?
first. I don't care.
Okay.
I don't
We can talk,
care.
we can talk about the New York Times story first.
I don't care.
Which one do you want to do first? It's up to you.
It's up to me.
Yeah.
I get to picky.
You get the picky.
I get to,
You get the picky. Okay?
okay,
You
let's
get
do
the
the
picky.
video.
Okay.
Biden story looks kind of
You'll like the Biden. No, you'll like the Biden story. The
sell
Biden
me on it.
story,
Tease the Biden story a bit. Give us
okay.
what's going on with the Biden
This Biden
story.
story is hilarious. This Biden
Okay.
story is
Well, I
hilarious.
do like funny. Okay,
It's
that's a plus.
it's hilarious. It's all about drama. Okay, don't
Ooh,
you
I
like
like
drama? Don't
drama.
you like
I do like drama,
it's all
actually.
about petty, stupid drama. You
Oh
really like to, this
yeah.
is why I know you like it. You like these stories where you see a bunch of people that are all fighting each other for status
Oh
and they
yeah.
feel disrespected. And so they do all this stupid shit because they feel disrespected, right? That's what this
Yeah.
story is.
Bunch of clout
Okay, let's
sharks.
do this story. We'll do
I
this
love it.
story. Look at
No,
this.
we're doing the video first.
Nope, nope. You psyched
No,
me into
look,
doing the
no,
story.
you guys gotta look. It's called teasing. Let me show
Oh,
you. Let me
okay.
tell you how the business works.
Oh,
And
okay.
everyone's excited to hear that next story. They're
Right.
gonna labor through this boring ass story that we're about to go.
This story's not boring. This story's hilarious. The video, well,
Okay,
it's not
good.
hilarious.
Look, they're
Well,
both great.
it's not hilarious, but it is interesting. There's
So
some
what's going
interesting
on
things.
with Krystal and Saagar here?
Okay, so they're talking about this, and I'm sure you probably saw it. There was a video at the Mississippi University where there was like a fat black lady who was kind of protesting in favor, or I guess against Israel, and there were a bunch of like white frat boys who were either protesting in favor of Israel, or I think just protesting that the protesters are annoying, which is I think
Right.
what most of the protesters are doing. And one of them, however, was making monkey noises.
Ooh, uh-oh.
Yeah, and
Uh-oh.
so that kid was, I believe, he was kicked out of the fraternity. I don't know if he got in trouble with the school or not. And so this story kind of got escalated because this guy, Mike Collins, who's a representative, he actually tweeted it out positively. Not that specific thing. He just tweeted the video in which that thing occurs, right?
Oh, okay. So now
Okay.
he's the racist because some guy made monkey noises.
Well, so here's the question. Okay. So obviously, if this representative intentionally tweeted out a video that shows a white person making monkey noise at a black person, and they realize that that was in the video and they did it intentionally, like that's despicably racist for a sitting representative to tweet that out, positively, right? Like obviously, no one's
Yeah,
gonna,
yeah.
we're not
Monkey
denying that.
noises are obviously,
Sure,
yeah,
sure. Um,
that's not good.
right. And if that
Whale
guy did,
noises, now that's okay.
there you go. And if that guy did that, obviously he's a piece of shit, right? Probably should get kicked out of Congress. But here's the other scenario. Okay, what if it's a 40 or 50-second video and the camera kind of like pans to the kid doing it for like a couple seconds and then pans away? It's not like it's the central part of the video. And I could also very clearly see someone post the video and not even not even realize that that happened, right? They just like, oh yeah, like I'm glad that these people are standing up for America because there's like a kid in the main part of the video in the protest who's like wearing flag suspenders and he's like, they're defending America, defending American flag, blah 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 blah, right?
Yeah, you're saying the monkey noises are not prominently featured.
Right. It happens very quick. So I could also see a situation which I would be more inclined to believe that the person who tweeted this out, the representative tweeted this out, Mike Collins, he didn't even notice the monkey noises thing. And that's not what he was referring to when he tweeted it out. Like he just kind of like glanced at this video of, these frat boy protesters who were like protecting the American flag from being taken down and kind of going against the anti-Israel protesters. And that's what he was supporting, right?
Yeah, he didn't even notice.
So, but here's the problem is that from a strategic perspective, because I don't believe he's given a statement about this. Is it make sense for him to like be like, "Oh, I didn't see that part of the video. That's not what I was referring to," or does it make sense for him to just not say anything?
Well, he should probably mention that he didn't see that part of the video.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it doesn't really hurt to say, "Oh yeah, that sucks." And I probably wouldn't have shared it had I noticed that, but it's not that big a deal.
Oh, he did make a statement yesterday.
Oh, look, they made him make a statement.
Yeah, because well, this happened. So he eventually corrected my statement. He said, I understand and respect the feedback that's been shared regarding a single individual during the Old Miss protest. If that person is found to have treated another human being improperly because of their race, they should be punished appropriately and will hopefully seek forgiveness. Frankly, I do not believe that to be the focal point of the video shared at the time, but I
Look,
recognize that there certainly seems to be some potentially inappropriate behavior that none of us should see glorified. Well, so there you go. I guess that answers that question. So he did make a statement about it.
that's the right thing to do right
Right.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. I agree. But
But
it took
it's
him
just like,
days. took him a while to respond.
I don't like these videos that it's like some a-holes being a jerk
Right.
and like all of a sudden everyone's got to bend over backwards because this like tiny little indiscretion took place. It's like, I don't know, just grow up. It's okay. Like people are assholes in the world,
Right.
right?
Yeah,
Look,
and
if it
it
was like you said, if it's a focal point of the video, that's a completely different thing. But if it's just some
exactly
dude in the
right.
background, I mean,
Yes.
you're like looking for it. We
Yes.
need to
Yeah, yeah,
stop
yeah.
looking for it, to be honest with you.
Right, right. Well, and actually I think that response was actually a pretty good response because it's like it points it out, but it doesn't seem overly, I don't know, I don't want to say cucky, but like overly bending over backwards, right? It's like,
Yeah,
oh yeah, like I didn't notice. I mean, well, actually, to be clear, he doesn't actually, what's interesting, he doesn't actually say that he didn't notice. He just said that that person should get in trouble, which is kind of weird. But okay, but fine. But it was, I guess it was a good, it was an interesting, it was a good,
well, if you make too big a deal of
you're
it,
right,
you
you're
dip a
right.
little bit into the
Yeah, being
oh,
too weak.
minorities are fragile little creatures, and we can
Well,
like they can't handle anything.
I wasn't thinking of that from that perspective. I was thinking from the perspective of kind of like the cancel culture, the people who don't give up are the ones that survive, right? The people that don't apologize are the ones that survive.
Oh yeah, yeah,
And so that's why, like, since we're in such a part of why I hate cancel culture is that it actually incentivizes people to not apologize if they've done something wrong, right? It
right.
incentivizes because if you apologize, that's like the piranhas smell blood in the water. So I was actually wondering if the reason he wasn't really commenting on it or apologizing for this was because he knew that,
Yeah,
right?
I got this from John Ronson's book. So you've
Yeah,
been publicly shamed.
right.
This is why my policy is. You want a public apology? Here it is. Fuck you.
Right, but that's a problem because then what if you actually do something wrong like this guy did?
Impossible, Sitch. Impossible. Look,
Okay.
it's people make mistakes, right? Why am I apologizing? What am I apologizing for?
Hmm.
Like I can say, look, yeah, I fucked up. I got that wrong. I
Right.
need to fucking apologize. People make fucking mistakes. Get out of here, you punk.
Well, I mean, okay,
That's
but
my
well, you
attitude.
apologizing, right?
No.
Okay.
Admitting that you made a mistake is not apologizing.
Right.
Look, I made a mistake and I'm going to make another one. So fuck you.
Okay. Well, anyway, so there's a video. So that's a video that kind of Saagar and Krystal were talking about, but it kind of leads us. I think we had been covering another Krystal video, and you talked about how you noticed how like emotional her voice was.
I know it was trembling.
Right, it's trembling, and it's sincere. It's 100% sincere, and it to me, it's a very interesting. We kind of get into some of like the interesting worldview she has, kind of regarding the situation. So.
Is this look, I'm not sure I can take more Crystal voice trembling. I feel bad. I feel bad because I'm just like, are we the bad people, Sitch? Because look,
Well,
I don't
we're obvious. I mean, we're like cynical, asshole, heartless people that are like, dismissive or making fun of people literally dying somewhere in the
look,
world. So,
I would prefer if there was no collateral damage.
well,
But
obviously,
it's
we
a
all would
big
prefer.
ass to go cuck in the to ask Israel to go cuck in the corner somewhere. That's a big fucking ask. That's a
Sure. Well,
big ask.
sure, sure. I mean, we're hoping that one hopes there's some kind of middle ground scenario here between sitting in the cuck chair and killing everyone, right?
Look, but no one is offering a middle ground
I
solution.
understand
You've
that. I
got
agree with you.
the
Yeah.
pro-Palestinian side. Oh, get the fuck out of the Middle East, Israel. Like, is that a moderate position?
No, not at all. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think so. Right?
No.
And Crystal is so much closer to that position than anything
Right.
reasonable. Like, oh, of course, they're prosecuting a war against dangerous terrorists. There's going to be collateral damage. We have to take that into consideration.
Well,
She never said ever.
I mean, that's what I said from day one. That's why I was annoyed because that's what I always been looking for. It's like, well, what, like, there's an interesting, though it's hard to watch. There's an interview. I don't know if you saw it with what's his name?
Yeah,
Constantine,
I like his stuff. I
the
watched a lot of
trigonometry
his
guy.
stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's super smart.
He interviewed that Palestinian comedian.
Oh yes, I did see that. I
Right.
did see that, and the comedian he just destroyed that comedian because he wouldn't
But
answer any questions.
yeah, yeah. That's what he always does. So, and Constantine asked him, and he asked other people this. It's a great question. He says, like, okay, if you're the president of Israel on
What do you
October
do?
8th,
Yeah,
what do you do? Like, how do you respond to the situation appropriately? On what now? This is a great question to ask people in this conversation. It's a
it
fantastic
is.
question. Though, I will add a little dot 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 there, a little asterisk there, I should say, is that I don't know if it's fair to ask someone who's Palestinian that question. Someone whose like family members or friends may have died. I don't know if you want to ask them that question, right? That'd be like asking someone whose family members were killed or kidnapped on October 7th, like what is the appropriate response for Israel? You're like, I'm
Yeah,
not sure you're gonna get like a good answer from that
you're
question, a
like
good
Gaza
non-emotional
parking
answer.
lot.
Yeah, right. So I'm like, I think it's a good question to ask people that have not like been directly affected by it. I don't know if it's a good question to ask people that have been.
Well, look, this is a great point because this is why the voice trembling thing it screams bias. Like we,
Right.
I think, are more objective because we kind of have a like, shit happens, I don't give a fuck attitude.
Sure, sure, sure,
Yeah.
sure. That's true. But okay, let's jump into this club.
Break of kind of like fraternity versus Palestinian, I wouldn't call it violence per se, but I guess clashes on campus, people screaming at each other, kind of like that. So I guess as a former frat boy, let me just say to all my brothers out there, don't ruin your life for the sake of literally getting expelled and trying to go viral on social media. I would just advise you not to do that and think about your future, as I had talked about previously for protest.
Can we put that back up on the screen? Put that back up on the screen. Okay, because what you see here, you got these dudes, mocking her, calling her Lizzo, right? All of that. Okay, that's one thing. Then you have this guy who's making monkey noises and pretending like he's an ape at a black woman. And what you have here is a Republican member of Congress tweeting this video positively and saying, Ole Miss taking care of business. So it's not, no, people weren't saying that they're mocking. No, no, no. You have a man making literal monkey noises and gestures at a black woman. It is as textbook racist as you could possibly get. And this Republican member of Congress is like, yes, I like this. This is good for me.
So I agree that we should call out.
It's frustrating too, because, and this is just the way, anyone has any conversation. This is not just a left thing. It's obviously people on the right are going to be the exact same way. But I don't think anyone on the left, it'd be very difficult to convince them that that guy put that video out and didn't see that like literally 1.5 seconds of the guy doing the monkeys, like the monkey stuff in the corner of the video, right on the far right side of the video. They will never ever ever believe that. They will assume it's just intentional.
Yeah, look, they tell themselves he shared it because of that. That's the reason why he shared it.
Right. Yeah.
This is like a dog whistle thing because it completely plays into their narrative. Everyone on the right is racist.
That's why it's frustrating to be in the space, because everyone comes up with these base assumptions about how the other side acts, and then whenever they find anything that remotely fits into that, they just lock and go, "Aha, got him!" Right?
Yeah, the proof we've been manufacturing for years and years is right here in front of us.
The Republican congressman. But in the same way, Krystal, we shouldn't elevate a single person from this thing and say that this is who they all are.
Well, here's why it's important. Because when it's anyone associated with the, ceasefire movement, with the anti-war movement, then this is representative of the whole movement, right? And we have to get a presidential decree, multiple presidential statements and a press conference about how they're vile anti-Semites.
Everyone does that. Every single side does that. They always try to paint the most detestable individuals in the group as the whole group.
That's literally Sitch and Adams' law.
Yeah, that's SOP, standard operating procedure.
That is Sitch and Adams' law of political discourse. Find extremists on the other side and use a broad brush to paint everyone on that side as that extremist. Yeah. Now, that doesn't make it right. I'm just saying that's what it's unfortunately how everyone...
Well, look, I only bring it up because Krystal's making it sound like
operates, but the point that Krystal's making, yeah, what were you saying?
No, go ahead. You cut out for a second there.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, but the point that Crystal's making about this happening to the quote pro-Palestinian protesters on campus, I think the problem is, and it's just interesting. We've seen a very, I don't think that they understand this. When I've been looking at a lot of the mainstream news coverage, and I said this yesterday, it's been pretty, I don't want to say anti-Israel, but it's been not like hiding the number of people dying, right? It's definitely been hyping up the number of Palestinian people dying. This is why you see more and more and more Democrats, especially Democrats, but even Republicans, but mostly Democrats every day, even Jewish Democrats turn and say, okay, we need ceasefire, they should stop doing this, blah, 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 blah. The media has not been like hiding any of this information. And there's also been up to this point, lots of students protesting against Israel this whole time. And there hasn't really been this pushback. The only time the pushback happened recently is because two things I think have happened. Number one, they've had a big explosion of protests and encampments, specifically these kind of weird different protests that have actually disrupted the colleges, number one. But number two, there was an explosion of videos showing America that a lot of these leftist protesters that are on college campuses, they're not calling for a ceasefire the way they were, months and months ago. They're calling for Israel to not exist anymore. They're saying that and it's so weird because like Krystal says it and Brianna Greyjoy says it, they all say it. In one breath, they say like, I don't understand why everyone's attacking these protesters. And then the next sense, they're like, Zionism is evil and shouldn't exist. And you're like, wait a minute. Like, hold on. Like, you understand that's what the average American was like reacting to. They're like, whoa, 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 whoa. Like, we think Israel should stop, but we think Israel should still exist as a country. And that's what people are getting up in arms about.
Yeah, it is a majority. Look, this mob chanting from the river to the sea, this is just a tiny minority of the movement.
But it
doesn't pass the smell test.
But that's the problem. And when she says like, yeah, it is a minority of people that are probably very explicitly saying that they're pro-Hamas, even though there are people that are saying that. And it's probably a minority of people that are saying like, they want to kill the Jews or whatever. But it's not a minority of people that are saying that they want Israel to not exist.
Yeah, it's a majority.
Okay. On these college campuses.
Think of the Finkelstein clip that we watched where Finkelstein comes out and says, look, optically it's not good for us to say, chant from the river to the sea, right?
Yeah.
And then as soon as he's done, the woman takes a microphone and the whole crowd starts chanting from the river to the sea.
Yep.
How can you say, oh, look, they're just isolating these fringe cases?
Exactly.
It's the whole fucking mob chanting.
Exactly. Right. And even the clips that you see that aren't like the hyper incendiary ones of people being supposedly pro-Hamas, they always say like, oh, we got a Zionist over here. We can't let any Zionists in, right? That's
Nobody
the phrase,
steps up
that's
and
the term
says,
they're using.
what? I don't think Zionists should be allowed to be in here.
Right. But yeah, so that's why it's just like, I don't know. I feel like there's this massive disconnect on the like, I don't think Krystal's a socialist, but on like the hyper progressive left, there's like this massive disconnect between them and like the average American.
Yeah. I was watching a video this morning, but I think it was from a few days ago where they were interviewing some activists and they could not just come out and say, look, Israel has a right to exist. Like it is a thing. They're like, it is, I guess it's kind of a form of dog whistling. Like they will not come out and say Israel has a right to exist. They like find ways to kind of hint at that without saying it, so that they can take it back. So they leave themselves wiggle room. They're talking to two different audiences when that happens.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
But when you have like the most racist shit imaginable, oh well, that's just a one-off.
That's one guy.
That's just a one-off.
The rest of the guys are there and they're just shouting at it, and that's fine. I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
Yeah, the whole crowd didn't simultaneously break into monkey chants, right? Like the river to the sea stuff.
Like that would have been crazy. Like obviously that happened. Like, oh my God.
Think of the guy. Remember the guy who was yelling out and the whole crowd like going after the Zionists all in unison together? Oh, it's just, a couple bad apples. That's the whole crowd. Yeah, the human chain thing.
Yeah.
Like a human chain didn't break out around the monkey guy.
Oh my God.
I mean, you might have a point if that happened.
There was a tweet from this account. I don't know who the guy is. He's on Twitter called Scary Larry.
Okay.
Okay. And I was like, and he's got like 68,000 followers. Okay. And
Wow. Okay.
but I don't know who he is. I don't know if he's like some like person in real life. Um, he's like one of these hyper leftist types. And this tweet got 12,000 likes. It's kind of insane to me. He says, between JP Staples, who apparently is the kid who did the monkey sounds,
Uh-huh.
and he has a picture of him doing it. And then next to it, he has a picture of Nick Sandman. And he says, between JP Staples and Nick Sandman, it's painfully obvious that a whole lot of white kids are being raised to be racist pieces of shit.
Nick Sandman? He goes after Nick Salmon?
Yes.
Sandman? That
Sandman.
sucks.
Yes. So we still have, and this got 12,000 likes. We still have in the year 2024, like the dumbest fucking retards on the planet pushing the Covington kids
Sandman
hoax.
was a racist. Yeah.
Yeah, even though like that is one of the most widely reported on, like the fact that it was
He
bullshit
got like
was one of the most
$100 million.
widely reported on. Yeah, because of all the defamation lawsuits against the
Yeah.
and this guy's still promoting it. It's like crazy.
That is insane. I'm glad you brought that up because that is crazy.
Ugh,
So
okay,
what I would say is I think, unfortunately, there's been a bit of some left hypocrisy here where everybody's like, no, see, like all these kids are racist. No, here's what happened. At UNC, those Palestinian protesters took down an American flag, stupid idea, by the way, and then a bunch of UNC frat bros surrounded and defended the American flag while they were pelted with trash. Again, explicitly aligning yourself against the U.S. flag, wouldn't advise it in the United States. Those people went viral, and basically from then on, all frat brothers around the country are like, okay, we got to get involved in this. So again, I would say to my brothers out there, please don't do this. Do not engage in racist mocking of protesters because it's not going to work out well for you as it worked out in this instance. But I do think it's important to say that just because one guy did it doesn't mean that all of them are racist for coming up and for shouting against them. And I have seen, unfortunately, a lot of people use the same tactics, which I don't think is fair.
Saagar always gives such great advice.
Mm-hmm.
Don't throw yourself on your own sword for this nonsense.
Of course, yeah.
Because it'd be like saying that all of the campus protesters are anti-Semites because one guy who like barely even goes there said something about Jews, and it's like, well, you know, that's not really what it's all about. So, and I just wanted to put that out there because I don't think it's fair.
But I think that's fine.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of hypocrisy on the other side, where, as I said, one incident can be used to tar an entire movement as anti-Semitic, whereas here, this is not even acknowledged, and actually, to the
I wish Krystal would just acknowledge that it's not, we're not talking about one-offs. Like there's the human chain thing that happened, like they were chanting river to the sea, the whole crowd was chanting.
It's weird. This is like a very weird conversation because what she's saying, what the other people are saying, is they're saying it's not anti-Semitic, right? And it is kind of this like nebulous question, is saying that you think Israel shouldn't exist, is that anti-Semitic or not? And I mean, I can understand someone saying it shouldn't exist for non-anti-Semitic reasons, and obviously we can understand people saying it for anti-Semitic reasons, right? And so that they keep talking about the anti-Semitic angle of it very specifically.
Okay, I guess you're right.
Right, and that's why I'm saying that's the whole anti-Semitic thing. Like, even though obviously that's how a lot of people perceive it, you know, it's even Biden perceived it through that lens. The mainstream media is perceiving it through the lens of anti-Semitism, and I understand why. Saying you don't think Israel should exist obviously reads to like the average normie, the average person, as like wildly anti-Semitic. That's how it's going to read to most people, and I completely get it, even if they're not anti-Semitic. But that's why I'm saying, even just if you remove the anti-Semitic angle, just advocating that Israel shouldn't exist is a very far out position that they don't understand how radical it is.
Yeah, it's the norm, and you don't have to paint the whole movement as some fringe situation when the whole movement is some wild far left thing.
Right.
Yeah. It's just such an asymmetrical argument that she's trying to make here.
Mm-hmm.
extent it was acknowledged, it was celebrated. And the governor of the state also, you know, celebrating and lauding, saying it warmed his heart, these individuals at Ole Miss. So fine, let's be fair-minded and focus on what one side stands for and what the other side stands for.
Well, before she gets in this, because it's funny, she's gonna completely strawman the heck out of the other side. I think so much of what's going on here, like she's talking about like the governors and everyone coming out against like the anti-Semitism stuff. So much of what I think is actually going on here is people on the right are just super happy they get to call people on the far left bigots.
Racists. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Because they've been getting hit with the racist stick for so long. They're
exactly.
like, look.
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna be real. I think that's what's like 95% of the energy like animating this conversation. People on the right are like, finally, you've been hitting us with that bigot stick for like 20 years. Now it's our turn. They take it and they go, whap, 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 you're the bigot. Like, oh, they're just relishing it.
Yeah. Krystal can't even see that though. It's kind of sad.
Well, I mean, it'd be interesting if she brought that up because it's not like that doesn't necessarily she could use that as a point to her in her favor, like saying, "Oh, they don't really care about it." You know, it's just like, for this emotional reason.
Yes. So fine, let's be fair-minded and focus on what one side stands for and what the other side stands for. One side stands for stopping a genocide. The other side stands for
That's not
continuing.
fair, though, for these kids. They're just pissed off because people have taken over their
what
campus.
What is their movement about? What is the pro-Israel movement is about?
But they're not pro-Israel.
Let's continue slaughtering children. That's what the conflict is about. And so, yeah, I agree with you.
Don't you love it?
Is that kind of crazy? Like, so, but this is why, part of why I thought the clip was interesting. This is why, to me, this really informs us of her worldview. I mean, does she honestly think that the people out there, they're going into, like, she's literally perceiving a reality where all the people that are against, the Palestinian, the pro-Palestinian protesters are they're sitting around like, they're pro-genocide. Like that's their actual thought process. They're like, yeah, I want to kill Palestinian babies. Woo! Like she honestly think that's the world that people are operating in.
She does. Yeah, totally. She believes the straw man.
That's crazy.
One side wants to let murderers and rapists get away with it. The other side wants to prosecute a war against those fucking barbarians and destroy them. How about that? Is that better framing?
I mean, yeah, but you say, but destroy them at what cost, right?
At what cost?
Yeah.
That's the thing.
The civilian death count, right? That's the cost.
Most of people say that the cost should be borne morally by Hamas. Hamas started this. Hamas is the one using them as human shields.
Yeah, to an extent, obviously. To an extent, right? We all agree. Like, if Israel just started like drop the nuke on Gaza, everyone's like, "Whoa, wait a minute!" Like,
well, look. First of all, I was just trying to do as big a straw man as she was.
I understand.
So
I understand. Right? Yeah, I understand. You were just doing like the reversed version. Sure.
Look, she would say, "Well, I'm not trying to let Hamas get away with it. Well, I spoke up on October 7th. Come on,
right?
Let me go. Come on,
right?
Stop hitting me."
Yeah, right? No, but I think. Yeah, I think Saagar, first of all, I think Saagar's completely right that most of the kids on campus, they don't have strong feelings about the issue. They just think the protesters are annoying. They probably think that just like wokeness in general is hyper annoying. And that'd be my guess is what's animating like 99% of the kids on college campuses kind of, hassling the pro-Palestinian ones. They're just anti-woke stuff. They're tired of all this woke shit. They're tired of these kids like, disrupting classes. That'd be my guess. I don't think they care about the Israel situation.
Well, yeah, I don't.
But for people that do care about the Israel situation, again, it's not to be like, oh, well, they're pro-genocide. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's what we said from the beginning. It's why Constantine's question is so good. This is what's annoying whenever you have this is what bothers me whenever I hear or interact in these conversations with like the vehemently pro-Palestinian people. I hear lots of people who are moderate or on the more pro-Israel side, who all acknowledge like the tragedy and loss of life of people in Gaza, who acknowledge the complexities and difficulties of the situation. Not everyone, obviously. Some people are just like, burn them all, right? But I do hear like a good number of voices on that side that seem to be able to have some kind of nuanced conversation. I don't hear anyone on the kind of like progressive left side that's on the very pro-Palestinian side. I don't hear a single one of them have any level of nuance to this conversation whatsoever. You're not even able to talk to them about anything at all. Like that was what was interesting.
Israel's colonial invaders. Why would you need to talk to them?
Right. It's just Israel is the evil colonial invader. Everything they do is bad. Everything they do is evil. That's what was interesting to me when Destiny was on Breaking Points, and Krystal wasn't there, but he was talking to Ryan Grimm, and I forget the guy that was there. I think it was Palestinian, and it's like, why did Israel put the blockades up in the first place? And no one will answer the question, right? None of them will answer the question. I haven't heard a single. This is why it's insane to me. I've never heard a single one of these progressive Palestinian, advocates ever acknowledge that Israel has a legitimate security concern. All they do is they just say, well, if Israel just will stop being mean to the Palestinians, then they wouldn't have a security concern, which is like, oh, I guess we're living in a fairyland now, right?
Well, what they really mean is if Israel would just get out of the Middle East, they wouldn't have a security
Well, that's true, because they wouldn't exist to have a security concern in the first place.
That's what their real position is.
I know. But that's why I feel like these conversations are so frustrating, because I feel like one side, there are people that are capable of like nuance and understanding the complexities of it. And the other side, there's like none. There's just no nuance. There's no complexities to it, from at least the progressive voice we're seeing on the internet. You're seeing nothing like that. It's so insipid.
They're hiding their true intentions, Sitch.
I don't know.
They are.
There's a podcast we'll probably do where two of the dumbest people I've ever heard in my entire life attack Jonathan Haidt's work.
Oh yeah, I've listened to that.
Yeah, it's one of the most like stupid things I've ever heard in my entire life. And Jonathan Haidt talks about like the great untruths that some people can believe. And one of them is that life is a battle between good and evil. Okay.
Yep.
And these complete dullards, these dumbest people ever, who, by the way, all sound like the most hyper woke leftists ever, right? But they're like pretending they're not for some kind of audience. They're all like, you think people believe that? No one believes that. It's so ridiculous. Who believes life's a battle between good and evil? And I'm just sitting here like, what? Where are you? Where are you? Where do you live right now? What the fuck are you talking about? Every situation that's talked about politically now has to be through this lens. This situation, the Israel-Palestine situation, we've seen that stupid fucking meme of the like one side of the people that want civil rights, and then the other side are like we want to kill black people, and then there's the centrists saying, compromise.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's, the framing for the situation. It's the same thing with, Donald Trump. Donald Trump versus Joe Biden, it's a battle between good and evil. Like, and these idiots are sitting here like, oh, what do you mean? No one thinks that. No one thinks that at all.
Yeah, they're crazy. You can't even have a conversation about a bear and a man without people going to DEFCON 5.
Yes, you're right. You're completely right.
To focus on who are they and are they racist? What are they saying? Whatever is to miss the point of what these protests and counter protests are about. The protests are about let's stop a genocide. The counter protests are about let's continuing. So yes, okay,
I can't stand.
Stop a genocide versus continue. Why are you a continue genocider, Adam?
Yeah, why are you a cucking to terrorists? Fucking terrorist sympathizer.
That would be the response, yeah.
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 Why are you about like letting people rape and murder in this? Why are you in favor of collective punishment, right? When Hamas went in there to kill a bunch of Jews for what a bunch of other Jewish people did fucking decades ago, how's that not collective punishment?
Right.
All you want to do is go on and on and on. Oh, collective punishment, collective punishment. You're the ones that are in favor of collective punishment, right? Oh, it's so sad.
Let's have that conversation.
But I don't think
this is
fair.
all a distraction from the real issue that these kids are out there protesting about.
Well, we will have our real discussion, absolutely. But I'm saying I don't think it's fair to say that people who are annoyed about protesters who are coming on their campus and who are screaming and shouting and are basically like going out there to mock them and be like, hey, please get out of here because we don't necessarily agree with you. I don't think that means that they're pro-genocide. In fact, I didn't even see a single Israeli flag amongst a single one of those guys. Like I said, it was a huge mistake.
I love Saagar, but if this was Robbie, he'd be laughing in her face. Come on, let's be honest here. Right?
Yeah, maybe.
He's so nice about it. He's like, I don't think you could call that genocide.
Well, I think
I'm
the
like,
difference.
what?
Here's what I think the difference is. I think Saagar and Krystal are actually friends.
Oh, really?
Yes, I think they actually like each other. They're actually friends. They actually have a good relationship. They agree on a lot of stuff, I think.
And Robbie and Brianna are dating.
I think Robbie and Brianna hate each other's guts. Okay.
Oh, do they?
This is my guess. I think Brianna thinks that Robbie is a secret racist.
Alt-right Nazi.
Yeah. Yeah, and Robbie just resents, all that behavior. So I think it's just a completely different dynamic.
Right. Yeah, no. There's a lot of respect here.
For those UNC idiots to take down the American flag. I don't know why they had to do it, but they decided to do it. And it's like, if you want to put yourself against America, you are going to get a lot of people who are coming out there
why
who
do you
defend
have
the flag.
such vitriol
there's no vitriol
towards people who, took down a flag, but so much less to this man making monkey noises at a black woman. And you want to excuse him and you want to call them idiots.
Excusing him. I'm saying,
Did Saagar excuse him?
No, he didn't. Yeah.
He didn't at all.
I just said that I thought they had a good relationship. Now, because she's very emotional about the issue, she's kind of dipping into the Brianna bad faith territory. Yeah.
Nobody's excusing him. Look, racism is evil. Fuck that guy, right? But you're acting like everybody started chanting monkey noises in unison when that's exactly what's happening at all these Palestinian protests.
Mm-hmm.
He said he was an idiot, and I don't think you should ruin your life for that. I absolutely don't condone what he did. What I'm saying, look, it's also about convincing people. Taking down the flag of your country in your own country is a dumb idea.
True.
I think it was huge. It was a backlash. There's a reason that it all went viral. I don't have vitriol for anybody. In fact, I'm just trying to analyze it in terms of like which one is going to be more popular. But I'm not in the business, just as I'm not in the business of smearing, protesters as anti-Semitic as a bunch of frat kids as racist, because I've seen this happen. I was in a fraternity. Everybody, pro-sexual assault and all this other bullshit. And I see a lot of the media basically participating and trying to cancel or use the same tactics that I think Zionists are using as the counter-protesters, and I don't think that's appropriate. More what I'm saying is that at the end of the day, I don't really believe in terms of that these guys are pro-genocide. I think that they're participating in a social movement where for a lot of the people in this country, it is annoying to have this happen. And so they're coming out and they're like yelling. And I don't think there's anything particularly wrong with that. You can think that one side is more moral if you'd like, but for a lot of people, they either don't care or they think this is worth to come out and just like make fun of people, which again is a fundamental American right.
Look, I support their right to be assholes. That's part of what the First Amendment is. But I think we should stay focused on what the actual issue is that is being protested. And sorry, I don't think one side is more moral than the other. One side is more moral than the other. I don't think that there could be an issue that is more clear-cut at this point when you have so many children slaughtered. We're going to cover this in the Israel segment. Every single child in Rafah right now is either malnourished, sick, or injured.
I would have so much respect for these people, Krystal included, if they just framed it as the collateral damage is excessive. Like, just acknowledge the fact that they're trying to prosecute a war against an enemy and just come out and say, look, I'm against this excessive collateral damage. I think framing it as a genocide that totally makes me lose all respect for them.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it's a couple things. I think number one, a lot of people on the very far left or the progressive left have been buying into this narrative for years that we've talked about why, but it is very interesting to me how the Palestine-Israel issue has been heavily tied in to socialism in this country.
Totally.
And into the Black liberation movement. That's kind of why people hyperfixate on it for some reason on the left in this country. They've totally bought into this narrative that, Israel's intentionally trying to just be as horribly, genocidally despicable as ever because they're the evil white, colonial oppressors, right? And so, and I don't know how much that's playing on to Krystal in this conversation. So that's definitely part of it. Because I agree with you. Yeah, she just said kind of more what I think is going on here, which is that, there is a legitimate security concern, especially after October 7th. but there's also a massive collateral damage and collateral loss of life concern, and also what appears to me to be a massive incompetency in terms of decision making that's about how troops should behave or targets should behave, bombing targets to be made from Israel's perspective. Um, with some of the horrible things that we've heard about, killing the aid workers, killing the little girl, and all this other stuff, killing their own hostages, as opposed to just like, no, they're all just mustache twirling, genociders that just want to like wipe them all out.
Yeah, they do a disservice by kind of muting all of these legitimate points that you make by just jumping to the genocide. The genocide thing just has zero credibility with me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
well, I gotta give, even though I don't really like 99% of her takes, I gotta give Jessica Burbank some props for this because I watched her and Robbie were talking about this story, the same story, and she said, even though she's said that it's super racist and all that stuff, she said that she agrees that college students and young people shouldn't like have their entire lives destroyed for like one stupid thing that they did, on social media one time.
Yeah, I agree.
Which, I agree with. It's a good point.
Okay. So, yeah, there is a morality gap between the two sides. And I agree with you. It's not.
Just, can we stop, please? This is painful.
Well, it's funny because, again, it just goes back to, this denial that people see the world as a battle versus good and evil. I mean, she's,
oh, yeah, it's great
one
point.
side is the morally righteous side, and one side is just the evil side that wants to kill babies. I guess.
There's just this morality gap here.
Right.
Yeah. Fuck. Fuck me. This
I know.
is so painful.
I know.
I thought Krystal was coming towards the enlightened centrist tribe. What's going on?
No, I mean, if she was, I don't know if she was. Definitely not after all this situation with Gaza. So.
Yeah.
Not fair to take one individual and say this is reflective of an entire movement, but that is what's been done to the pro-Palestinian students. And suddenly, when it's these kids or when it's the UCLA counter-protesters who were the ones who were 100% violent, it's either completely erased or they're actively celebrated. That's what I'm upset about.
I totally agree with you. And look, I mean, we can't control what the rest of the media does. We can only try and, cover it the way that we can here. And I don't think, we're trying to erase any horrors or any of the other stuff. We have plenty of stuff about that in our show. I do think if you were on the Palestinian side, you should be upset about the way that the media has treated you, specifically MSNBC and so-called like fellow travelers. I'm with you. I mean, if I was on that side, I'd be furious about the way that they covered BLM or others. I'm only saying, well, let's not descend, fight fire with fire or any of that, because I don't think it will get us to a particularly good place. And if anything, history shows it will probably backfire. So I think that's a decent enough lesson.
Hey guys.
It's so sad because, look, that book, it's The Coddling of the American Mind, I believe, where he goes into the 3 great untruths. And one of the great untruths is believing that the world is a battle between good and evil people. You can see it all over her face that it's like it's really affecting her mental health.
Yes.
That book is ultimately a book about how to maintain your mental health, right? This is not a healthy way to live. You foster a bunch of insane paranoia that you don't need to carry with you all the time.
Right. I mean, it's not a coincidence. We're seeing this massive uptick in anxiety in children, right? Obviously, that's a big part of what Haidt talks about in that book and in his next book, in his new book.
Yeah, his new book, The Anxious Generation. Yeah.
Right. And, I guess kind of a chicken and the egg thing, because it's like, he's kind of pointing the finger more at social media, which I agree is probably the biggest culprit. But also, these, is it a chicken? Is it the egg? You have this ideology, this far left kind of Marxian based ideology that kind of says the entire world is oppressed versus oppressor, and everything's like a conspiracy out to get you. And I mean, that's definitely going to, number one, play directly into the anxious mind and then heighten everyone's anxious mind up. It's going to make you think you're surrounded by psychopaths every turn, bigots and psychopaths.
Yeah, it's not good.
It's terrible.
Communism kills in more ways than one, right?
Yes.
All right, let's get to your story. Come on.
Definitely.
We only have like 10
Okay,
minutes.
read
And
some supers.
where's the this Biden
We're
story?
not gonna get this story today.
No, we're gonna do
No, we're
it.
not. We're gonna tease it for another day, Adam.
Are
We're
we?
gonna keep teasing the story and pushing it off until
All
eventually we have
right.
time to talk
Tune
about
in
it.
tomorrow when we
We'll talk
actually
about it
talk
tomorrow.
about the story. I guess I should pull it out of the title then.
Yeah, well, no, that'll be like the stream joke. We'll put it in the title every stream, and then we're just teasing it indefinitely. And people are like, "When are you gonna talk about this fucking story?" Right?
Okay.
And I'm like, "We'll talk about it eventually." Okay.
Oh, you're evil.
Hey, you can't
Life
say that. This is
life
not a
is a
battle between good
battle
and evil.
between good
Okay?
and evil people.
This
And we
is good
know
marketing.
and we know who the evil person is.
Look at my face. Is that the
Uh-huh.
face of evil? That's the
It
face
is
of. Look at
actually.
that. That's a nice face. That's a nice guy face. All right.
Oh, let
Okay.
me
Where?
yeah. Where? Oh,
Here we go.
where?
Oh, no, I read that one. Read that one. It's just Abby for $5. Thank you so much. Says, I don't think the story being fake matters when so many stupid people agree. The story highlights some kind of morality, and so many fail the test. True. Dollar Go is for
Morality
$5 says,
test.
can it still be called crying wolf if once racism stops being banned, it increases in an insane amount? We'll see, but that's kind of like the problem with I think why you'll never, and people that share your worldview dialogue always will never accept the role that the left has basically played in cultivating racism. Because you can say like, oh, well, the only reason racism has exist is because we stopped banning it. So now you see it. And I'm over here like, well, no, because we all lived in the internet times before everything was hyper policed, hyper banned, and there wasn't that much racism. And it's very clear to me that what started to cultivate and push racism, and if you actually talk to these people, all the arguments they use is they say white people are under attack. White people are constantly getting hit. You know, why is it so, why is racism against white people so allowed? And just a number easy basic number one thing of psychology, of sociology, of group behavior. You say any weapon you use against someone, they will try to use against you. And so obviously, if people are going to be using racism, very blatant racism against white people, and society just, signs off on it, says it's okay, you're going to be cultivating a lot of angry white people who are going to say, what the fuck? I guess I need to unify around my group identity as defense, and I got to attack them on the same grounds.
Disgusting.
Right? I mean, that's what's happening here. So it's not a question of that's why there's been this explosion. And then obviously, if Elon Musk or someone stops banning it, then you're going to see like a double explosion because then you're going to see it all. But it's obviously been bubbling for a while. So
Yeah.
Cameraman
I'm not
502
really
for
gonna do
$2
that.
says, given the pro Hamas crowd, I struggle to sympathize. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how many of those people are pro Hamas. There's definitely some of them in there, but
Quite a
I mean,
few.
yeah, there's probably a few, but the anti-Zionism thing is just it's a very losing issue for them, and it annoys me that the people on the progressive left, I literally don't, I don't want to say that they're gaslighting. I think they literally are such in a bubble they don't perceive it. They don't have any clue. The Sam Cedar, Krystal, Brianna Greyjoy, I think they just cannot perceive what's going on because they're so deep in a bubble.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, that's the morality binds and blinds. The third
Yeah,
rule of moral psychology.
of course.
This is a major blinding effect. It's
Boop.
sad.
It is. Boof Ski McGee for 15 months. Thanks so much. Says White Boy Summer is here to save us from the chaos. Who would have thought? There you go.
Another white boy summer. Wow.
There's this super. Okay, so we're talking about kind of like the weird bubble that the left is in. Let me talk about the weird bubble that the internet right is in. And it's like, it's so stupid. There's I think it was Mike Cernovich was saying this, and I saw people repeating it. There's the dumbest. Oh, and Scott Adams also repeated this, and I was just like, fucking, why am I still listening to Scott Adams? I don't know.
Yeah, look, I keep saying that.
Like a battered
when are you
housewife.
going to listen to me? Yeah.
Because I don't know, it's just funny to see like where like the conversation is. Because he just repeats like Mike Cernovich and Jack Posobiec and a lot of other people.
All the people you fucking hate.
I know. What's interesting to see what they're saying though. And he used to listen. He used to say smart things, so it's upsetting. There's like they're pushing the dumbest fucking idea. Are you ready for this dumb idea, Adam? You got your head on for this one?
Yeah. I
Okay.
always keep my head on all day.
So there's been a lot of talk about like what is the October surprise like the Democrats are going to throw at Donald Trump to try to help Biden win the election,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Hold on. Who? What?
There's this talk about like what is the October surprise that Democrats will throw at Trump to help Biden win the election,
Oh yeah.
right? It's going to
Yeah.
be some kind of like
Interest rates.
or some kind of deep state conspiracy, some convoluted plan, right? That's going to actually help Biden win, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so now some of these people are suggesting that it's the campus protests.
These campus protests are
Yes,
going to help Biden.
that the that
How retarded are you?
that's why I'm like, what the fuck what are they
Who
talking
said
about?
this? Who said this?
Scott Adams said it. Mike Cernovich was,
Well,
I think, implying it, talking
I think
about it.
it's time to cut the umbilical cord,
I'm like,
Sitch.
I'm just sitting here like, what the fuck? This is insane to me. How fucked do you have to be to think that these protests that everyone in the country fucking hates, that by the way, the protesters hate Joe Biden and are very publicly in videos saying, fuck Joe Biden, calling him Genocide Joe. And people are like, well, these protests were funded by George Soros in 2017. So therefore, it's really a secret plan to help, by George Soros to help Joe Biden get elected. And I'm like, what? Are you fucking out of your mind? This is like, the brain XE has stopped working for some of these right-wing pundits. This is like pure NPC brain rot. I'm like, what the fuck is happening here?
Yeah, you definitely need to get off the Scott Adams train.
I
Well,
just can't
I
believe it.
guess it is interesting that this is going this is going on and we know about it. So,
But
or
that's
you
why
know
I
about
listen.
it. I just learned about it, but
I like to know what's going on in like the weird left and right wing bubbles, how like fucked their worldview is. So there you
yeah.
go. Okay. Dimless for $5 says I do mapping for my city's park department, and while getting GPS data, I saw a bald eagle at Liberty Park. I regret not saluting certified American moment.
That's
There you go.
badass.
I like it.
We have a red-tailed hawk that hangs out in our backyard. It's pretty
Oh,
cool.
that's cool.
Yeah.
I see a hawk. I see a hawk in my neighborhood. I don't know what type it is. It's a little hawk. I see him kind
A
of
chicken
around.
hawk.
It's not a chicken hawk. I've seen one nab a cardinal and eat it, and there are like red feathers all over the yard.
Ooh, ouch.
Oh yeah. Libertarian Sasquatch for 9 months says monkey noises kid suspended instantly. Open support of Hamas and chant River the Sea, and you get free pass. Who cares if Jews feel uncomfortable?
So good. I'm so
Yeah,
glad you pointed that out.
that is
Yeah.
true. It is true. I'm glad there's at least finally some fucking pushback on this River the Sea shit.
You didn't have to
Finally.
have an act of Congress to get the racist kid suspended.
You mean they don't need an act of Congress to get the race to get suspended, but you need an act
that's
of
what
Congress.
I mean.
You were right to be like, from the C seems kind of suspect, guys. Right. TL1524 for $5 says, I think it's more racist to think black people don't like monkeys. Also, I was told Lizzo was beautiful, so the frat was actually complimenting her. There you go.
Oh yeah. Lizzo is so stunning.
Cameraman502 for $5 says, did Krystal ever address the Columbia Zionists don't deserve to live guy? Jackass. That's a good question that I don't know the answer to. Fondue for $2 says, can Sandman sue that guy too? But I mean, probably. Well, I don't know. I guess it's an opinion, right? It's an opinion that someone's racist, so probably not. It wouldn't be worth it because it's just some random guy, and he's sitting on a mountain of cash, so probably not. Edward Sr. for $10 says, what bothers me most about Brianna, Krystal, etc., is that they don't acknowledge any understanding of why many Jewish people want a Jewish nation. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's just the lack of ability to have any sort of level-headed, nuanced conversation about the situation from the Israel perspective is annoying. So,
Yep.
Moon Doggy for $20. Thanks so much. Says Krystal should try to explain to the Krystal should try to explain the protesters that have been, I'm sorry, the posters that have been posted around the Columbia area to depict people in scarves calling for revolution and demolishing buildings while fighting colonialism and having a hammer and sickle. Yeah, that's another thing that's really annoying too about when the people in the progressive left talk about this. They all cover their eyes and pretend like all these kids protesting are not all radical Marxist socialists, and that that's not a massive philosophical, ideological component of these protests that is fueling them. So,
no, it's just about stopping a genocide.
right. Gavatron for 2 Canadians says, "Why is Krystal wearing the colors of Israel?" Oh my God, you're right. I didn't even notice. Obviously, it's some kind of psyop. Okay. I mean, honestly, I thought she was looking a little like Donald Duck. I didn't notice the Israel thing.
Oh, wow.
So I guess the colors are wrong for Donald Duck. Because his little bow tie is red. It's not blue.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
But it's the thing on his hat is blue. The bow.
He's got a blue hat with a black ribbon, and then he's wearing a blue shirt that's got like the red bow in the front.
You must have a photographic memory.
No, I'm looking at a picture of it.
Oh.
I have the worst visual memory of all, like, of a human. I just see the blue and the whites like hit each other, and it brings me to Donald Duck, I guess, instead of Israel. Hail the free voice for $5 says, off topic. Did you see Robbie snap at Bree and then she said she wouldn't do the show with him anymore if he kept disrespecting her? It's great. I did not see that. When did that happen? Send me that clip immediately. Send me that clip stat. Send me that clip yesterday. When did this happen?
You sent me that clip.
No, I didn't.
Wait. That's a clip where Robbie laughs in her face.
Oh, it's in the same clip?
Right.
Oh, I guess I got distracted by him just laughing in her face hilariously that's all I remember about the clip.
Yeah, he laughs maniacally. It's great.
Oh, okay, well, we're going to react to that clip, so I guess we'll talk about that. I guess I didn't see it. Remember we talked about how bad my memory is 2 seconds ago? Hennessy for $2 says, wait, there's a longer segment and it gets spicy. Oh, really? Well, can you tell me where? Because you sent me the link, and it's just like where's the spicy part? Because it's like a 2-hour long video. So I don't know where the spice is. Give me a time code, maybe we'll look at it. Fondue for $2 says the Biden article will be the new "They Killed Kenny." True. Chad Summer for €2 says, I heard Dev ate an entire ham and broke his chair. Oh my God, Dev, really?
Wow.
Really, Dev?
Going for the ultimate fat otaku.
Dev, when are you going to let Sammy G make you not fat? She's like all about the health stuff, okay? Gotta get on that train. Sug for $5 says, you see, Sitch, Biden and the Democrats knew that the protesters hate him. They funded and publicized their fuck Biden chants so all else would like him. Oh my God, Stug, you're so right. How could I be so stupid? Obviously, this is a 10D dimensional psyop because they knew that everyone would hate the protesters, so the protesters would be anti-Biden. It's perfect.
What a stellar move.
Fondue for $2 says, need that Brianna face. Can we get some emoji slots? We don't have a Bri emoji, but I'll just see. For $2 says, I have nothing to say. Here's $2. Well, thank you. I'll just see.
Yeah, thanks.
Cameraman 502 for $2 says, Red-tailed Hawk. Adam, you hosting commies. Adam, why are you hosting commies?
I didn't name the Red-tailed Hawk, okay?
That's terrible.
I think they're innocent.
That's terrible. Okay, let me look at the Streamlabs. Dr. Diller for $2 says, I don't know what my first stream was, but my first super chat was sent on April 16th, 2021 on Make America Terrific MMT with Adam and Sitch. What a terrible first stream to pick.
Wow.
There you go. Actually, did you know what today is?
It is Holocaust Remembrance Day.
No, you fucking anti-Semite. Why would you jump to that?
Okay. I don't know. Am I close?
I don't think so. Holocaust Remembrance Day was on January 27th. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Now, you know what today is, everybody?
What is it?
Today's our birthday, bitch. It's the channel birthday. Woo!
That was like weeks ago. What are you talking about?
No, it says it's today. It says on the little YouTube thing.
Does it really?
Yes. That's hooray, it's your channel's birthday.
I got that same pop-up like a week ago.
Listen, I'm gonna say it's today because even if you did, I just saw it today. So today's the channel's birthday. Get the fuck out of here. Even though technically it's the Sitch Undaily channel birthday, not the Sitch and Adam show.
Where does it say that?
It says it. Don't worry about it. It says it on the channel thing.
I don't think so.
Okay, look at this guy.
I think it's gaslighting you.
It could be. It says hooray.
Literally gaslighting you.
It's saying hooray, it's your channel's birthday. You've come so far.
Yeah, I got that pop up like weeks ago and I was like, dismiss.
Okay. I just got it today because I had no pop-ups. I dismissed all of our pop-ups as I do, and I just got this pop-up today.
Fascinating.
Okay.
Fascinating.
I'm telling you. This is how much Adam cares about the relationship, guys. He doesn't even remember my birthday.
It's true.
Dr. Diddler says, anyway, happy 3 late years, and thanks for publicly choosing to associate your brand with someone who willingly calls themselves Dr. Diddler. Well, there you go. That was a mistake.
Yes. Giant mistake.
Huge mistake. I think you associating yourself with the brand Dr. Diddler is a mistake.
Yes, yeah.
Okay. Christoph Keating for €5 says the Likud manifesto in 1977 said between the sea and Jordan there will be only Israeli sovereignty. I'm pretty sure Netanyahu still believes it. I'm pretty sure that he does believe it too. Netanyahu's a fucking piece of shit. I don't think I've never heard me defend him on this stream. Sir Hostess of Liver for 50 Kazark says, did you read The Confederacy of Dunces? It's a 60s comedy about annoying, overeducated, overweight guy trying to spark a revolution just for no real reason. Yeah, I think you told us to look into it, and then I never did.
One of my favorite books. I read it many, many, many years ago.
Oh, really? So you have seen it. Wow.
Look, I lived in New Orleans. I read that book when I lived in New Orleans, which is great because...
Oh, is that where it takes place?
It takes place in New Orleans, yeah, and they mention a bunch of places that are obviously New Orleans landmarks. So
right.
It's cool.
Right. That's cool.
The story behind the Confederacy of Dunces is even more interesting because the guy who wrote the novel, I guess he's only written 2 novels, and he tried to get the novel published and pretty much fell on deaf ears, and the guy ended up committing suicide, and his mom shopped the novel around to a bunch of different publishers. Nobody wanted to even read the thing. Then one day someone read it and was like, oh my God, this is amazing. Published it. Yeah.
Right.
Published it after he'd already killed himself. So
damn, that sucks.
It does suck, huh? But that's a great book. It's an amazing book. Yeah.
Okay.
Check it out.
Anyway,
you're gonna love it.
I guess we'll see you guys all tomorrow.
All
Have
right.
a happy birthday for me.
Yeah, me too. Bye-bye.